it?
Pardon, Eliona?
This is to go on till 2:30, is it?
I think so. Maybe Natalia, you can just confirm that it's 30 more minutes.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
On much more. We ran a bit behind time. I'm just seeing, how do I make it full slideshow? Is it from current?
On the
There we go.
bottom. Okay.
Okay, great. So yeah, for the second half, which is shorter, we're just going to talk a little bit about why you might use Twitter. So, like, many people have different purposes for using it, and you can use it, I suppose, in for many different ways as well. But some of the ideas about using Twitter as a researcher would be to disseminate findings of research, find out about events and news, engage with other researchers online, share about the PhD experience, and also, if you're involved in activism, it can be a way of connecting with others and I suppose expressing your view. But like, it's really a personal thing, and it's important for each individual, each person, to decide how they want to use it and what way they're going to use it. So just one example is this girl, Catherine Gallagher, in Ireland. So I wanted to show the kind of the power of Twitter and of tweeting. And Catherine was accepted onto a PhD program in a university here in Ireland, but she was going to lose her disability allowance, which she needed for her medical expenses. And she went on radio and spoke about how this was just like really wrong, and the stipend was like 16,000, and she was going to lose her 10,000 disability allowance as well on top of that. So she really couldn't afford to do her PhD. So basically, after this when she was speaking on the radio, she tweeted the broadcast, and she tweeted our ministers and politicians in Ireland, and they all responded, including the Minister for Social Protection. And they all responded in some sort of astonishment that this was the case, and they didn't realise that, you know, if you were going to do a PhD, you should lose your disability allowance. But anyway, as a result, the Minister for Social Protection tweeted her back and has said, has introduced a new law called Catherine's Law, so that PhD students will not lose their disability allowance if they go on to that high level of education. And now I think I'm going to pass back to Natalia. But Natalia, do you want me to do the screen or the presentation, or do you want to do yourself? Or
I'm going to share again the Twitter account. So and then you can back to the presentation, Aoife, just briefly.
Okay. So I just stopped sharing my screen now.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Now maybe you can see my well, again.
Yes.
Twitter, right? Okay, thank you. So usually when you have a Twitter account, you end up following a lot of accounts. So one option, you can follow hashtags, but one option to follow a particular topic without missing any tweets is to create lists on Twitter. And it's really useful because, sorry, someone wanted to, okay. So just to create your own, well, you can create your own list on Twitter or follow lists created by others if they are public, of course. viewing a list timeline will show you a stream of tweets from only the accounts on that list. So it helps you to cut through the noise of busy timeline by seeing only posts from a selected few accounts. So let me again, I will create a list, and to view or to create, you have to go to the main menu again on the left side of the screen, and then you have this option, list, on this menu. You click on it, and here you can discover new list, more public list. And if you access, for example, if you click here and show more, you can see that a lot of suggested lists, public lists. And if you click on one of them, for example, here, this one, you will see that, you will see that who made the list, and which accounts make up the list. In this case, if you follow this list, there are 128 accounts in this list made by Carrusel Deportivo. So I will follow this just to share how it goes. So now I'm following the list, and again, if you go to the homepage, you will see that. Sorry, here you will see that I'm following this list. Okay, and now you have also the option to create your own list, and this is located on the right side. Here it is an icon of a paper with a plus, and here you can create a new list, and you will see that you need to enter a name for that list. For example, their network. Okay, you can put also a description. It is not mandatory, and you can make it public or private. Public, if it's private, it's just for you, and if it's public, it will appear on the list of the public list of all of them. And then I can click on next, and you will see that you can search for people. So I can, for example, add there. Oh, sorry. Edit list here. Here. Here you will see that, for example, I will add, for example, IFAM, add, and I can, for example, add every of your handles here. Okay, for example, this one, I'm not going to do it because we run out much of time, but this is okay, my list, and you will see that it's made by me, and there are 4 members. What happens here that I can see just in a separate feed what is happening with that account, what are their activities. This is, well, I mean, I think it's a very useful feature, as Twitter is still a platform for quick information consumption, and we always having a very busy timeline. So in this sense, you will have a quick option to follow certain accounts, and you have the list. Okay, so if I can again give you the floor.
Okay, perfect. I'll just get the presentation back up. Oh, I think I have to go back into this. Oh, you're still sharing your screen, I think. Maybe. No.
No, I don't think so. No.
I'm just trying to get back into the PowerPoint.
If it's easier, Aoife, I can grab it.
If you don't mind, sorry. Thanks so much, Joe. Great. Well, yeah, there's only a few slides left, and just as well, I actually have created lists already. So if others create some or want to share them or that kind of thing, I think that's really useful as well. I know, like, I have actually spent a lot of time creating lists, and I don't utilize them, so I am going to use them more. But that's another option. If we create different lists, perhaps we can share them with each other. So yeah, just the next slide. Yeah, the next slide. Oh yeah, okay. So we just have a few words of caution in using Twitter, I suppose. Be aware of the impact of negative content. As well, there are a lot of fake accounts with fake content, so I suppose you really just have to be aware of that. And also, I suppose there are certain online spaces and discussions that are sometimes, you know, are not good places to be, or you just have to kind of just, you know, take it all kind of, not, you know, just I suppose be aware of negative content and negative spaces. And then we also said just not to be shy to mute or block people. So like I think the mute option is a good one because the other person doesn't always know that you've muted them. So whereas block, it's very obvious that you've blocked someone. But that's for yourself to decide what you want to do, and I suppose as well, you know, what you want appearing on your timeline. And then just as well about the hashtags, we discussed them earlier, but don't overuse them, and don't have too much words in one hashtag. So try and keep it to a minimum. And then this is Catherine's quotes that diamonds last forever, and so do tweets. So just, yeah, to be cautious of what you're doing, and that it you know, it will be there for forever. Okay, next line, or next tweet, I mean, sorry, or next slide.
Aoife, Raiders has a couple of questions in the chat. I'm not sure. Do you want to?
Okay.
I can't see the chat though. It's on my phone. I can read it if that helps, or if you can see it.
I can't really see it.
If I was just saying, maybe you can take those questions in the end. You know, just go for the. Yeah.
Okay, the next slide then. Sorry, eventually I got the name right. So yeah, just some tips and advice as well. You can set the notifications on your phone. You know, you can always take the app off your phone if it's too much, or if you want to go take a break from Twitter, you can just take the app off and put it back on again whenever you want. And then just like to just try and not get into too much bad habits, like you know, checking Twitter constantly before bed and just scrolling and not getting a proper night's sleep. So yeah, there are just a few tips and advice. And then the next two slides are just to say thank you, and then the resources that Laura Dana spoke about with the shortcuts and the chicken nugget program are also included there, and you can contact Loredana directly as well if you have, if anyone has any questions specifically about accessibility. Yeah, so that's it, and I'm happy to. I can't see the question still, but oh, here I see now. Yeah. Okay, so I don't have experience of doing a live discussion, but I have taken part in them before, Radosh. But yeah, I'm not sure if Natalia, if you have any experience in actually, I suppose, organizing, coordinating them.
I mean, for an organization are really useful because it helps you to create engagement on a certain time. But personally, I feel like they are very fussy. When there are a lot of threads, it is difficult to follow. I think it's better for organizations in the sense to have, well, to increase their statistics is just a way to increase their impact in a certain moment.
Yeah, and I think as well, like what works well is if you have many people working together on one of these kind of live discussions, because I think it's very hard to manage on your own. I know, for example, Disabled Women Ireland did one recently around the Women's Day, and it was really successful, but there was many people like involved in it, and I think that's what really made it a success.
And if I may add something, I know that politici are using sometimes this kind of online discussion. I think at the Commission they used also, and yeah, for them it can be also a way of consultation, a little bit to check what people see and what people feel like.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot more things, like more advanced things that you can do, like with TweetDeck, I think, and all these different things. But I think that's for a different discussion. But I think it's really, it can be really utilized and used. But at the same time, it's like I try and limit my time on Twitter as well, because I think it can kind of waste time sometimes as well. But it's really it's great as well. It's just to manage that, I suppose.
Yeah, I think we have other question. Also, when wanting to build your online presence and audience as an academic, what strategy do you find the most useful, and how to provoke the audience to follow you and engage in your tweets? The most useful way is to first, I think, in my opinion, make a list of that, or mentally, or make a list of that accounts that have impact on your field. I'm sure that there are a lot. And the way to provoke audience to follow is to create great content, but it takes time, of course. I mean, we don't forget that. Community manager is a profession, so it is very important to have a timeline in advance, so you don't have to, you don't have to waste, as you said, Aoife, you don't have to waste too much time on Twitter. So be prepared in advance, just to be constant in the way that you post, not every day, but in a week, 3 times. And in that sense, you can engage others for sure. It takes time, but at the end, you will increase your followers.
And I think as well, it's really useful to like comment on other people's tweets, or stuff like that. And it's something I don't actually tend to do a lot, but I think that's a way of building like your relationship with people. And I know in Ireland, like the Twitter community is really, really big, and like people know each other just through Twitter, some people. So it really is quite powerful. So I think it has a lot of potential.
And I think also something very important is to whom do you want to direct your message? Maybe have that also on your list, try to see, and maybe you can either yourself, or it depends if you get also the chance to work with several and you are in a team who can help finding some people maybe whom you want to tag. I'm speaking, for example, I know that again, at the level of EU institutions, they always say, yeah, I want figures, I want studies. So make sure that you tag those ones, also relevant departments to your subject, because they may also be interested, but it can also, your study can have a further impact. And yeah, of course, other academic institutions, colleagues that may wish to follow you if they know that you exist.
Rados, I think that your hand is up. You can take the floor if you want. Okay.
I just wanted to briefly my very modest experience and to ask you if you experience the same. I found out that when I'm retweeting some news or merely sharing the information, I receive very little engagement and very few likes and reactions. But sometimes, a few occasions, I posted some controversial or conflicting question, asking people to engage, like, what do you think, should parental associations, should they be considered as DPOs? You know, such kind of controversies that might prompt people to engage, because everybody are likely to have opinion on that, and the issue might be significant for the people in the community. And on that occasion, I received so many engagements, new followers, and so on. So is that the strategy that you occasionally apply, beside merely sharing the information to people, but trying actually to engage them somehow actively in a discussion?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Absolutely.
I think controversial messages, above all in social media and on Twitter, particularly, are they have more impact. It is the it is the negative part of social media in one part, I think.
That's always the trick. It's with two sides. Either you can have something good or something bad. I remember I had once an accessibility issue going to work. Just the way in front of the Turkish embassy that I was passing, it was blocked with barbed barrier obstacle. So it was really dangerous. My white cane was going under, and I could hurt myself. And I remember I was so angry, and my colleague of communication at that moment came and said, no, we have to put this on. And I got so many likes, and even from the European Parliament reactions. And so I didn't expect. So sometimes it's from, what does move people emotionally or not. It's difficult sometimes to know.
So I don't know if you have any comments, questions. Okay, so I think we're done. I want to thank you all to joining us today, and I hope it will be useful. If you have any doubts, of course, you have my Loredana and my email too, so you can write me anytime.
The same for me. And Aoife's email, you have it already in your group. And yeah, don't hesitate whenever you publish something you want. You can also always tag EDF, because we are dealing, your subjects are most of the time on disability related. So I think we are interested, aren't we, Natalia?
Exactly.
May I ask in the end?
Yeah,
Because
sure.
we discussed with Pat in the dissemination group that we would like to have the outcome of this training, maybe common their guidelines for the usage of social media, because that was kind of idea of us CSRs, that we should have it in place if we are to engage collectively in managing their social media accounts. So things like what kind of content should be there, the accessibility points. So maybe can we ask you to share this EDF's social media guidelines? I think you mentioned it. So do you think we can adjust this for the purposes of their accounts, or do you think it's a bit different for academic purposes and organizations such as EDF? Do you think we should be adjusting it a lot, or we can actually use it?
No, for sure. I will share with you the policy, of course, and with all the guidelines. And I think most of them can be applicable. So I don't know if you can. Well, I will share with through Joanna or Aoife, and for sure you can take a look, of course. And if you have any comments or doubts, you can always write me back.
That'd be fantastic. Thanks, Natalia.
So thank you, everyone. And
thank you so much.
Have a nice evening.
I wish you a lot of success.